Colleen, how about you folks?
155 in launch.
And then Jordan, John, what about you folks?
We are 158 launch.
I just realized we went backwards because we added a business unit and I didn't audit it because my husband.
But that means you're moving forward. You know what I mean? It's only going up.
Love him. He's always messing with my stuff.
Yeah.
Oh God, he added 3. That's why. What a jerk.
Good thing he's not on the call.
But
he can hear me. It's fine.
Good to hear it's a universal experience, though. I too sometimes think, God, what a jerk.
Equal opportunity crap talker I am.
Okay, just bear with me as it wasn't letting me sign in there for a second, which was non-ideal. We are in week 4, correct? Anyone gonna be like, no, you don't know how to count, or we're in week 4, we're doing it. For week 4, we have 4 features. So we have organize your price book for maximum efficiency, maximize upsells with upgrades and recommendations, follow up on conversion opportunities, and book sold estimates into jobs. Does that sound new? Or that sounds new and exciting? Yep. Perfect. Okay, before we get into that, does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns, either from last week, even if it's just general Service Titan things, or anything you want me to grease some wheels on?
I'll point out I got the merge report, or not merge report, maybe it's called that, I don't know, the combo report thing going.
Yeah. Join template, yeah.
Yeah, it does not let you do customer stuff. So customer reports are not included in it, and that's the one that I really need.
Will it maybe be helpful for other things?
I'm sure, but that's the one I really needed to get going.
But for that one, yeah. Okay. Well, we'll take that as a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, just send that out to the other people.
Excellent. Check. Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, cool. Well, not that cool, but cool enough. Okay, let's get rolling. I'm going to share my screen here. Everyone can see this. Nice. Okay, cool. So we are in Titan Advisor, rocket ship icon in the top right-hand corner of your screen. And our first feature that we're talking about is organize your price book for maximum efficiency. To get there, under our business sections, we are going to go into, shocking, price book. And then it should be in this launch tab. What's the deal with everybody's price book? Who is responsible for your price book? Did you buy it? Did you inherit it? Did you create it from scratch? Is it done? Plot twist, it's never done. What's the situation for everyone on their price book?
So our owner, Tom, is the one who manages our price book. I have been updating all the material costs because it had been a couple of years, so all the pricing was wrong.
Oh, okay.
Checking all the vendors to see the current pricing and updating stuff, and then adding new stuff that we've added for like truck stock lists and stuff. But he does the majority of the work in the price book.
Okay. How about everybody else?
I am pretty much the one that does the price book, and I'm in the process of starting Price Book Pro possibly, but I'm kind of having second thoughts, so I don't know if anybody has any comments on that.
Does anyone use Pricebook Pro? Sorry, a spider, the very large, minimum 1.5 inch spider just was in my business. I'm good now. Does anyone else have Pricebook Pro? Anyone? Bueller? No. Colleen, do you folks?
I believe we do, but we're working with Service Titan on getting it correct it because there are issues ongoing.
Okay. So Pricebook Pro, I'm not a pro peddler, so like I don't it's not my wheelhouse. With that being said, there are pro specialists. So if you're finding that you're like, you know, talking to your CSM about this stuff and you're like, hey, this is like still not moving forward and I really want it to, or whatever, you can request a call with a pro specialist. And that is a person who is basically a CSM just for that one thing. You should also be assigned a pro specialist as you're implementing these things, but just a lever you can pull in case you do need some additional support. And yeah, that's their bread and butter. That is very much their wheelhouse. So those are the folks for that. Okay, so we got a couple Pricebook Pro folks. We got some doing it as we go. Melanie, John, Jordan, what's your Pricebook?
My husband generally manages the price book. I just clean it. So, he does the mass schematic of how he wants things, and then I go in there and do all the nitty-gritty stuff that he doesn't want to touch, like photos and organizing it and all of that. So, yeah, that's how we do
Okay.
it.
This will be well built for you then. And then John and Jordan, how about you folks?
We ported it over from House Call Pro back in 2023, and we've slowly been updating it. I'd say we're maybe like 10%. It's
So
been rough.
Yeah.
Price Week is like a cave weekend. You just have to lock yourself in a room for a whole weekend and just like knock it out with energy drinks and no sunlight. I feel like that's the only way anybody gets their price book done ever.
Have to be in a Pricebook cave if you want to get it done. That's the only way. I have a whole bit, and I'll spare you guys most of it, but about how who's done their price book and then no one puts their hand up or no one says anything. And I'm like, oh, that's makes sense because the price book's never done. Like, yeah, we're managing our price book. We're always working on it. Like Tracy said, I'm updating things that potentially haven't been touched in quite some time. The price book is never done. The other thing that one of the guys on my team likes to remind us of, because he ran a plumbing company for a long time, is he pulls in my day, I used to have to bring all the catalogs on site and blah, 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 blah. And we had to, and there would be, so you'd be scratching stuff out and this, and we're like, okay, yes, Tim. Yes, Father Tim, we get it. Awesome. So, I mean, your price book is never done. It's always a work in progress. And I think that's important framing going into some of the things that we're talking about today. And also, if you are making any large sweeping changes, like it does take time. But hopefully, as we talk through some of these things, I can give you some kind of tips in addition to the Titan advisor features, and we can make it a little less cave like maybe only like 6 energy drinks rather than 10. You know what I mean? That's the hope. With all that being said, we're in Titan Advisor price book launch, and we should be looking at our organize your price book for maximum efficiency. That is the feature that we're looking at. I'm going to pop into here. What do you folks have in terms of setup steps? There are 3 and points. Is anyone soaring flying on this? What's the situation?
Mine says 4 of 4.
Nice. Okay.
Ours shows 404 as well.
Sweet. Love to see it.
Mine's 4 of 4 and earning 4 points, current 350, whatever that means.
Okay. All right. So we're all looking pretty good for the most part. We'll pop through it, but we'll talk about the foundational piece of what this is actually talking about. So this feature is talking about how essentially if things are organized, then your techs are going to want to use it. It's going to up your ticket prices because if something's easy to use, it's easy to select, more likely they're going to put it out on the invoice. It also helps with our options presented, all of that kind of stuff. It makes sense that if something is visually appealing and, kind of makes sense hierarchy-wise in our brains, it's going to be more efficient. There are 3 setup items. Number 1 is price book categories. The success criteria on that is at least 2 categories and then 2 active subcategories. Categories are how they present, right? And kind of like Melanie had mentioned, I'm putting photos on these things. Again, we all buy on Amazon. If there's not a picture, you're not buying it because that's crazy, right? So we want to have categories, and if our categories and subcategories have pictures, that's great. We also want to have service items. So we want to have at least 25 active service items. Same thing, adding images and that sort of thing is great. And then we have assigning those service items to categories themselves and subcategories if that's how it's organized. Then what are we looking at on our how to use points? So if you have over 20 unique price book items on invoices for jobs in the last 30 days, then you're getting 2 points. And if it's over 50, then you're getting 4. The other thing that's nice about this is it serves as kind of like a health check on your price book. Because if you're like, oh, we only have 10, we're using 10 price book items, but we have 1,500 price book items. Well, so like something's not quite right, right? So these numbers do help to kind of report card on that. Let's hop into our price book quickly together here, and we'll look at our categories and our subcategories, and I'll give a couple little info pieces. So I duplicated my tab. I am now in the price book itself. And this is something that we're all probably familiar with, right? We have price book on the left-hand side. We have all of our different kind of bits and bobs of it. Services, materials, equipment. Do you folks know the difference between services, material, and equipment? Hit me with it. Hit me with the Service Titan definition. I'm ready.
I'd like to hear the definition because we all come up with different examples here.
Yes, that
I'm
is very
cheating because it's right under if you click on price book, the definition's right under services. And
on this one. Yeah. So, okay. Services, materials, equipment. This is the way that my Brussels sprout brain thinks about it. Equipment are big ticket items or things that have serial numbers, things that have warranties, things that have replacement ages, right? That's our equipment. They might have a maintenance plan associated with it. It says it in fancier, nicer words here, but like equipment, serial numbers, equipment, big sell. Materials are the bits and bobs that make it so that I can install these things, right? Those are our smaller things. No serial numbers. We are probably going to inventory this stuff though. Okay, so equipment and materials can be inventoried. Materials, bits and bobs, equipment, serial numbers. Services are the packages of those things together. So like you add a service, everyone's are going to look a little bit different. You can have materials and equipment attached to that service, right? It's kind of like a package of things. Services are never inventoried. You don't have an inventory item that is service X, Y, and Z thing, right? You have inventory for materials, you have inventory for equipment. We do not inventory services. Does that track? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yesterday I had a question. I was updating the price for a first aid kit and a fire extinguisher, and they're listed in materials. Is that the right place for them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the other thing too is like you could just sell that, right? Like you would just sell that. I mean, I guess equipment for you could do fire extinguisher as equipment because then it's tied to the customer's location and like it's more trackable, and especially because it has like extinguishers have expiration dates, right?
Yeah, these were more for like the truck stock lists that we're working.
Yeah.
would you consider those like assets though? Like, because they're not something you use for a job.
Right.
Do you have other direct costs in your price book? This account doesn't have it. There is another one that goes under this that some folks do have access to called other direct costs. Typically what folks associate with is in the price book is if there is say they pay rental, they need a scissor lift or they need a whatever, and they don't own it, they rent it and then they mark it up. That goes in other direct costs. You could put that kind of stuff also in other direct costs. But I guess it depends on if you inventory and stuff too. I can include the help article on that.
Erica, can I ask you to step back just 1 second? We use our equipment as a service. So when we install a piece of water treatment equipment, it goes under equipment. We're using that idea of serialized, warranted items or equipment, but we don't have a service that ever includes that equipment. We just add that equipment to the job. And the confusion for us being that under the equipment and service type, you can have an allocated amount of hours to it and that sort of thing. So am I understanding you correctly in that we should have an equipment and then a service to install that equipment?
Is what you're doing work? Does it work?
No.
I'm also thinking, Matt, with it seems that when you add equipment to the thing, it drops it into the location page. And one of the issues that we've had is when somebody calls in and says, "Hey, I have my UV system and I need a replacement bulb. What is that?" And we have to go through the history to find out what the last bulb was that they purchased, because that would be a material. But I'm thinking that it may actually be better to have the bulb itself as equipment as well as the UV system, or the main piece of equipment. So that way you just look at the location and say, oh, they need XYZ bulb and XXY bulb and whatever else, if they have multiple things.
So the CSR team has a cross-reference sheet that you're using to. I know what you're saying, but my question is more: should we have a service? Because then it lets me put. Also, it includes this many elbows and this many feet of pipe and this much ancillary components. Like that's sort of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, so services are like a package of things, right? So like Melanie or Tracy, Sheila, how do you folks do that? Obviously, you have a process that works for you. What's that look like for you folks? How do you do services in your process?
Tom enters those, so he's making service packages. So basically, whatever it is, an install, he's picking all the things that go in that. So when they're out in the field, they just have to pick one thing. Is that what you mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sheila, Melanie, what about you folks?
Yeah, I pulled mine up on mobile because it only makes sense in my brain when I'm looking at it through the mobile side.
Mhm.
So we have obviously we start out in categories, plumbing versus HVAC, and then into our services, like we start with drains, and then it goes through all of them. And then when I look at it here, sorry, I'm like trying to understand it because this is the part that I don't mess with like at all.
I guess my question ultimately is how does a tech decide if they're going to include a service as an invoice task versus a piece of equipment? And Sheila, same question for you.
We just use, well, I use a lot of templates and stuff too for
Ours is all
estimates,
templates.
and then everything just gets, sent to the invoice from there. But we use services for, I mean, a lot of stuff. If we're just doing a labor and materials thing, we just have a service set up, plumbing service, and they put their estimated amount of time and then add their materials. Some of them we have set up to where it's all inclusive, like drain cleaning, and then we just have it set up to where everything's in that one service because you don't really need materials in that case. So stuff like that.
Yeah, all of ours is based off of the estimate template. So
Yeah.
when everything's done there, the techs don't add anything to the invoice. It's all already done.
Done. And
So they're just selling
invoice.
it, doing it. It goes to the invoice, and that's that. There's no switching things up.
Okay.
And if there is something that needs added at the end, most of the time it's a satisfaction, maybe discount that's done by the office because maybe we were late or whatever. But the invoices are made from the estimates and then they're never touched again.
even that though, they're still pulling services onto that estimate, right? They would be.
No, the estimate template does it for them, I think. Let me look.
What I can do is I will include information about estimate and proposal templates because that is its own beast in and of itself. Blue Collar Nerd has a really good video for it, so I'll include that. I hear what you're saying, Matt, on, if there's, then I can include these things together. The nice thing about doing services that way, like how you're describing it, is that then if there is extra material that's used or, you have add-ons, you're able to do that and charge for it, right? Because you're saying at base level, these are the things that's included in this package of service. Anything outside of that, you're getting additional line items, basically, right? But yeah, I'll send more information on it and hopefully this was helpful. Everybody does do it differently, as we just heard. And yeah, if you had said to me, and when I went, does it work? And you said, yeah, I'd go, okay, bet, then you should keep doing that. But you said no, so that made it.
Probably other people would argue that it does work. I should, in my brain, it doesn't. I like that when I sell, we're not as adept in Service Titan that we're using the inventory tracking function yet. But I love the idea that if I sell a piece of equipment, if I just sell that right now, that drops out of inventory. That's easy enough. But I like if I sell the service, I know I also lost 10 elbows, 10 what, like that idea of having material linked to that. My concern, what sort of threw me off again, is that you can allocate labor hours to equipment. So that made me assume that it was supposed to stand alone to include labor. And that's, I've sat through a couple trainings and really have not been able to make sense of this. And it sounds like it's sort of set up that way to give everybody their own versatility to use it how they want, but it creates confusion. I would much rather do it this way and have it outlined to me, this is the way it should be done. But I see why it's this way.
Yeah, the other thing too is that those labor hours, they ladder up into job costing. And also if you're doing any kind of dynamic pricing or time and materials pricing, it takes, because that total hours, those are the hours that are like budgeted out for that thing. So that then when you're using the multiplier of whatever your labor rate is, that's what it's taking into account. So again, for folks that are maybe doing time and materials, dynamic pricing, client specific pricing, whatever, they would have sold hours on that equipment for that calculation. So yeah, it is confusing because like, how do I know what to use when? But I think you build it to your workflows, you scale it as you need. And then, yeah, if you folks start getting into dynamic pricing or start getting into client specific pricing, then you round it out.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Can you have a service that includes another service?
No.
Okay.
No, but you almost got me. No, you can't. They don't ladder up into each other. A service can include materials and equipment. You can use services as part of like membership workflows, but yeah, no.
I guess my last question would be then, is it going to clog the price book if I have equipment and a service to install that piece of equipment? Why would I ever have, I mean, we do sell stuff. We do have counter sales and we do sell stuff that way. So that was sort of my initial reason in asking this question is, could I just have equipment stand alone as this is the price of the equipment if somebody wants to buy it and purchase it, and then here's the service of us installing that equipment as well. And that's sort of what I was trying to get at. But I know that when we built our price book originally, we had to cut back some stuff because it became difficult to navigate.
Well, that's where your price book organization via categories and subcategories becomes really important, right? Which is literally like what this is talking about. So where you're putting those things. And then you're also able to hide, I guess you could put say you were just doing like point of sale for equipment, you could put that in a business unit that is only assigned to like office staff, and then they wouldn't be able to see it in mobile. Like it would be excluded from mobile.
Yeah, I think we played around with some of that too at one point, trying to do only view on mobile.
Yeah.
Or not view mobile.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, cool. Hopefully that was helpful for everyone. The one thing that I wanted to touch on before moving on is, okay, so obviously for this feature, we're talking about categories and subcategories. We know where these things are in the price book. We have our categories, our subcategories live inside of that. What I really wanted to talk about is that's easy to miss, and some folks won't know it's there, is this ridiculous little toggle button, because what this allows you to do is bulk edit. And where that's super duper helpful is what Melanie had mentioned in photos. We don't buy things if they don't have a picture, even if that picture is the same as, you know, my background that I have. It also helps to organize visually for text, like, oh, I know that this category, you know, has this photo assigned to it. Sweet. Makes it easier. So bulk edit, inline edit is really great. That's that toggle. You can move, you know, add columns as needed and stuff like that. And then you're able to go in and update things right from there, including, you know, pricing. You can do it by percentages or by flat rate, all of that sort of stuff. And it makes it so that you're not exporting your price book all the time. There are still use cases where you got to export your price book. Those suck, but it has to be done. But yeah, don't sleep on the inline edit mode because it's a good one. And then for your categories, like I said, photos super duper important. It makes the usability in mobile much, much higher. And again, like Melanie said, it's the only place it even makes sense in her brain. So we got to make it looking good. Awesome. Okay, so that's our price book. We're going to talk more price book stuff, so it's good we all kind of are on the same page. Anyone have any questions on that? Organize your price book, maximum efficiency. We like pictures, we like categories and subcategories. Any questions? All good? Perfect. Okay, cool. We are going to bop into our second feature, which is maximize upsells with upgrades and recommendations. To get there, we are in Titan Advisor in our business section that is price book. We're actually going to bop all the way over to optimization, and it should be maximize upsells and upgrades with recommendations. What are folks looking at in terms of points and completion here? 0, okay. Zeros, okay. Zeros. Okay, cool. Let's talk about it.
Are bugging my husband about this one, but he said that he's not ready to go into the price book cave again. So
Price book cave. I like price book cave. I'm gonna steal that. So first thing that we should talk about is what is the difference between an upgrade and a recommendation, because it gets squirrely in the brain hole. So an upgrade is going to replace that price book task on the invoice or estimate, right? If you have a base level chrome faucet without spray and the upgrade is fancy pantsy something else, if they select that upgrade, it is replacing it as the sale task. It's not adding it. Whereas a recommendation is saying, hey, you're getting this thing, you should also think about getting this as well. And it is an add-on sale task to invoice estimate. It's not replacing. So that is the difference. Also, this feature says that it's a quick win. That is questionable, because if you already have all of the upgrades in there in price book, yeah, it's not the end of days to pop into our things and say, okay, well, this is the upgrade, this is the whatever. But if you have to go and add it all, then that's a bigger lift, right? So maximize upsells with upgrades and recommendations. What are the affected KPIs? Options presented, because if we have upgrades and recommendations, we're able to do good, better, best, and we're able to have higher tasks per call, right? We can up our ticket, and then it increases our revenue. These things make sense. So what to set up? Number one is add upgrades in your price book, and you want at least 25 of those. And then the second setup is recommendations to your price book and at least 25 of those. So let's pop into a service item in our price book and see what that looks like. I'm going to refresh this. Here we go. So I'm in my actual price book. I'm just going to go in and edit something. And if you scroll down, you're going to see where it says upgrades and recommendations. So the quick win that they're talking about is you can come in here, select a couple things, hit save, and do that 25 times, and now you're set up. Yay, you. But to actually have those upgrades and recommendations in your price book, that's the biggest hurdle. Any questions on the actual like setup piece of this?
I have a question, but I don't know if, it says that I've already completed the upgrades and the recommendations, but I have 0. So does that mean I'm just not using them or something?
Will you use screen share so we can see?
I'm on my other computer.
Okay. Okay.
But it basically looks like it says right here what we're measuring: percent of managed sales and service technicians who have added at least 5 recommendations in the last 30 days. So I guess it's just that.
It's your
part of it.
Yeah, which thank you so much for the tee up. It's your utilization. So if you have these things complete, right? So that means at least 25 service items have upgrades. One second. Our faces. So 25 of them have upgrades. Perfect. And 25 of them have recommendations. Cool. Once those things are complete, then what it is measuring, how we are getting our points, is the percent of managed sales and service techs who have added at least 5 recommendations in the last 30 days. If it's over 30%, you're getting a point. If it's over 70, you're getting 3 points. The other thing that I like to mention is that this managed sales and service techs, people are like, well, yeah, I mean, we only have sales guys or we only this, whatever. Something to check in on are the permissions for these folks. So I'm in my other tab here. I'm going to go to the gear icon and search out a tech. In our tech profiles, you can have different company positions. You want to ensure that whoever you're looking to like have this managed with, that they also have at least one position that is sales, if that is what they do. Right? So if they're a tech who's like a straight managed tech, that's fine. But yeah, you don't want to have someone that is your sales manager, but you have them as like a different position that doesn't reference that, because it will affect this. If they're selling stuff, they should either have sales or sales manager as a company position, and you can have up to 3 company positions on someone. It has the whole blurb in here about why it matters too. So some Titan advisor scores are based on user's company position. It also helps, blah, 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 whatever. Just a thing to note. And that is there are other features in Titan Advisor as well that have this sales piece. Yeah, that's a permission. Or a company position in their permissions. Any questions on this, why it's helpful, why you would want to do it, how to get it set up, anything like that? All good? Does it track how it like says it's a quick win, but like it's only a quick win if you already have all of the things? Okay, cool. So we are on feature number 3 then. And feature number 3 is follow up on conversion opportunities. Now, on the office side, you're probably thinking, oh, I just go to this follow up tab and I've, anything that's in unsold, I follow up with them. What this is actually talking about is allowing techs to have the follow up tab on their mobile. So we are in Titan Advisor. We are going to go into selling and performing work. Then we're going to go into acceleration. And we want to be on follow up on conversion opportunities. What this is doing and what this feature is talking about is enabling your folks in the field who use mobile to have this follow-up tab so that they are able to view ops that they've presented and follow up. So the more you follow up with your customers on open estimates, the more likely you are to convert them. That makes a ton of sense, right? If we're doing our follow-ups by the folks who presented out that estimate, it can update or it can upgrade our revenue, our op conversion rates, ticket sales, profits, and then obviously our close rates as well. So how do we set this thing up? We need to enable it on the sales technician. So again, this is looking for that company position. The access to follow-ups permission lets you manage which of your techs has access to the follow-ups tab in Service Mobile. It literally adds a little tabby tab. And we want the success criteria on this setup is at least 80% of your sales techs are granted access for that. So we are in settings. I'm inside of a tech here. Remember, we would want their company position to include sales. And then in permissions, we're going to look up follow-up tab and access follow-up tabs. So of our folks who are out there selling, and again, this is only if you want them to be doing their own follow-ups. If you, or have the opportunity to do their own follow-ups. If you have a CSR process baked in the office where they're the folks who are doing the follow-up, you just want your quoters to quote, you don't want them doing follow-ups, then this isn't the feature for you. But that is how we set that up. Any questions on the setup piece?
So our service technicians are required to give 6 options on every job they go to for upgrades or repairs or whatever. So they don't have this access right now. Would that be the situation you're talking about? Like giving them access to follow up on unsold estimates as a service technician?
Yeah. Well, as a sales tech or a service tech who also does sales. Yeah.
Because kind of they all do. I mean, they all sell stuff on every job.
Yeah. Yeah. When you go into your permissions, do you see if they do have a company position that includes sales and if they in their permissions have the access follow-ups?
They don't right now. That's what I'm asking. Like
Yeah.
maybe we should enable that. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, it would allow them to at least access that follow-ups tab.
Okay.
Then to actually be getting your points though, they would need to follow up on these open opportunities. So once that follow-up tab is available to them, then they would be able to go into there and essentially log follow-up. So what we're measuring is the percent of open ops for jobs completed in the last 30 days that have a next follow-up date that's no longer than 7 days ago. So if it's 25%, you're getting 2 points, and if it's 75%, you're getting 5. What does anyone have points on this? Melanie?
We got 2
Yeah.
points.
2.
Awesome. How do you find, like, is this something that's baked right into your process as a company? Is this,
Yeah.
give us the info.
As far as I know, that's how the guys are doing it.
Okay.
We had it set up originally for our techs when we first signed up, and then we turned it off because our guys are not very inclined to sell. We don't do a good job of presenting options, but our sales team does do their follow up. So that the issue was when we were expecting the techs to do it, our schedule was a little too tight. It put a little bit too much on our team. So we have an internal sales process. Now, if those are getting followed up by a different technician, like we have an internal sales follow-up process, will that count too, or it needs to be followed up by the technician who presented the option?
No, it's looking at the permission and then the percent of open ops
that are followed up on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that have a follow-up date that's no later than 7 days ago.
Yeah, so I should have 100, but we don't because because we've got broken processes. But we have a person that should be internally following up on every one of these jobs the following day.
Okay. Yeah. The other thing too is that if you like from, and I mean, this is outside of this feature, but when you're looking at that follow-up tab, right, that person probably lives in, they're living in unsold estimates. And probably doing a lot of their follow-up off of here. Yeah. The other thing too is that once we sell our estimates, and I think, is that a feature? Once we sell our estimates, we still need to get these jobs booked out, right? Like just because someone says yes doesn't mean it's actually revenue yet. So yeah, a lot of folks do have baked into process that they have someone whose job is this follow-up tab, and they are responsible for unsold estimates. They're responsible for getting sold estimates either actually booked in or like chatting with dispatchers to get that done. But yeah, they just own this follow-up tab. So that's pretty common. We see that a lot. Awesome. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about that? Follow up on conversion opportunities. All good? Nice. Okay. Oh, well, and then there's our fourth feature, which I just talked about, which is book sold estimates into jobs. So let's look at it. We are in Titan Advisor. We're going to go to job booking and dispatching. It should be on the launch tab, and it's going to be book sold estimates into jobs. So our about is, sometimes a tech sells an estimate, but they can't do the job right away, right? So that's the perform work later, or I need another appointment, whatever. Then you want to get those sold estimates because, yeah, sure, it's money that's going to come in, but not until it's actually done. And there is no setup piece on this. It is only looking at utilization. So book sold estimates into jobs. It is looking at the percent of sold estimates that have at least one item booked into jobs in the last 60 days. If it's over 60%, you're getting a point. If it's over 80, you're getting 3 points. And again, typically if someone is living in this follow-up tab, we see some pretty good results in there. What do you folks have for points?
3 points here.
I have 3.
Perfect.
Also,
Good. So, okay. So that is great news. It also, yeah, it helps with your closure rates. It does a ton of stuff. So, and it's nice because there isn't any big setup pieces. It's just getting it done. Okay, awesome. Does anyone have any questions thus far? Good, we're okay. Does anybody have something called a missing price book item form?
We have an add to price book on our POs as we're creating them. If there's something that's missing from something that we ordered, we have a custom that says add to price book. So that way we run a report and then get it added.
Awesome. Yeah, so something that, and this is outside of the 4 features, obviously, but something that we see a lot that folks use is something called a missing price book form. And what you do is you would add this form, and are you folks interested in learning about it, or am I monologuing on something weird? Yeah, okay, cool. Before I get too into it. So, missing price book form. Basically, what this is looking to decrease is the number of times you get the call into the office that says, oh, I don't know, I can't find it. We don't have that. And you're like, either go, well, our price book organization needs to be up, or you need to search X, Y, and Z place. Or if you're getting into a situation where you see, we're getting the same item over and over again, and we maybe don't stock it, then you're able to action that. So what you can do is go into your forms. That's gear icon in the top right. Search for forms. It is under operations because I feel like everything is. Let's say you didn't want, we will build it from scratch, but let's say you didn't want to build this thing from scratch. Where could you go to find a form that might help as a jump off point? Someone say it.
In the
Where-
exchange.
Titan Exchange. Hell yeah. Woo! Titan Exchange. We love to see it.
I thought you meant there was one already there and you were just going to clone it. That's why I was like, what is she asking?
Titan, I wish. No. So yeah, Titan Exchange is a great place to pull some forms out, right? In this case, we'll just do it straight from here, but yeah, I do like Titan Exchange and I don't want anyone to forget about it ever. So, missing price book form. We're in here. We'll click on add form. Do we want it to be published or unpublished? We'll say published. Do you want any of this stuff going? Display on. We want it on the tech side too. Sometimes what I'll like, not some, I hear a lot of, I made this form, no one can see it. What have you done? And it's like, well, no, it just also needs to be on the tech side. So making sure that that is an option. And what do you want to assign this to is up to you. Apply tags. I really like this for missing price book item form because what you're saying is like this job is tagged out as whatever. Business units, cool. So then how are we adding this thing? What would the question be? Missing PB item, question mark, right? We want text. We can say done. That means that they can go into mobile, fill this out. This is hideous in this case. I'll hit save first. Oh, wow, it's angry at me.
Please
A
name the form.
It's a name. We'll hit save. Okay. Once that form is submitted, you're able to set up alerts based on that as well. So your, whoever needs to know that's coming, or, that we want to be aware, whoever is managing the, price book is able to know that the form is submitted. Great. Missing price book item form. That's a good one. Sorry, did anyone say that they are using that yet or no? Not as of yet.
We'll never probably use that, to be honest. Our text will abuse it, and we have our price book set up the way that it is because everything is in it the way that it should be. And if they can't find it, then that's a talking point we need to have.
Fair. Anybody else? Okay. So we do have 10 minutes left here. We have a few options. Number one, I can give you back 10 minutes of your day. Say, yay, you guys had already knocked out 2 of these features just by living in Service Titan already, and we went quick. Alternatively, I can pull up some quick win features and we can go through that. Or I can just leave 10 minutes and you guys can ask me random questions and we can try and work through things together. It is up to you folks. And if no one answers in 30 seconds, I'll get awkward and then pick quick wins.
I have one random question, since we're opening up to it. Last week, when we were going through training, I accidentally, I was in Titan Exchange and I just wanted to mess around with downloading a form. And when I downloaded it, I inadvertently, and I don't know how I did this, and I'm wondering if you can talk me through why I did this. I added it as a required form on all jobs. And so 2 days later in a meeting, everyone was like, what the heck's going on with this new plumbing debrief form? And we're all pencil whipping it and trying to figure out.
Okay, so you
What form was it? So I
Yeah.
know not to click it.
it was a plumbing debrief for me, and I just wanted to see what it was. I just kind of wanted to explore. Hey, what's this stuff in the exchange? We have a couple required forms that we have to do for sales and one for field techs. But then suddenly this got added, and I don't know how it got added. We were able to deactivate it, no problem. But I wasn't aware that I had turned it live. I thought I was just downloading it. So if you can walk me through or screen share and just show me the proper process for downloading these forms and being able to look at them and access them without putting them as required jobs, or show me what I might have done wrong, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna
One
be
that
honest.
you can't preview. I just looked.
I know it's really annoying.
Mm.
Some of them you can preview and others you can't. I'm trying to, is there one that I definitely, so debrief plumbing, I'm gonna assume was the one, right?
That was the form. Yep.
Okay, so I'm pulling it into my account. Many blessings. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go into here. So this is publish. You can pretty easily unpublish it, I suppose, but it does have a trigger. So that form,
Hey, why are you pulling forms and they're automatically going live? Like, I hate that about
yeah,
type exchange. Like,
Yeah,
there's
well, that's what I just learned. So now I know at least I have to go in there and unpublish it. So
yeah.
it wasn't something I'm like, no, I didn't make it required. I just downloaded it to see what it was, and they're like, it's
You're
required.
not the only one that happened to last week. My guys were calling me, what is all this? This thing about this form. And I was like,
All right, I feel a little better.
activate it.
That means that the forms that we're pulling, like, so see how okay, so like the ones that I just made, right? There's no trigger associated with it. Bunch of these don't have any trigger. That debrief plumbing form pulls with a trigger. And the trigger is that when they click the tap out button, the form pops up. And it's on all job types and all customer types. So that is a good call out when you're pulling stuff from Titan Exchange, and one for me to start calling out as well. We got to make sure that we're unpublishing it and looking at what triggers also pull with that. Because, yeah, the triggers are great when it's, if form of XYZ thing is pulled, then we get an alert to the person who needs to know it in the price book, but it's not so great if anytime the event is anytime arrive invoice closeout is tapped that it goes. Yeah. These are the different. So like for that PB form, would be technician. Yeah. So that pulls with a trigger. That's the issue. Okay. Well, what a widespread plague. I'm so sorry that happened to you folks. Yeah, you can also just delete the trigger and then re-add it, I guess, would be another thing you can do. And then the form's still published.
Service Titan needs us to download them into their own little file, and then we can look at them and add them as we wish.
Someone did have a thing, is that for Content Portal or Titan Exchange, about folders?
Like, Service Titan's so smart sometimes to do stupid things like that. Like, it just makes me crazy.
If it makes you feel any better, and I do have this saved on my desktop because it truly, I watch it when I'm sad, I won't lie. But this is a video of someone on my team who was giving a presentation on our new features.
Excited for the folders. Dude, folders are life.
Folders
really
are
are.
life. They really are. So I'm glad that you guys agree. Folders are life. They really are. We need more folders in Service Titan. That's what I learned. And Joel agrees. Okay, we got 5 more minutes. Does anyone have any questions or anything they want to cover for sure right now?
When I'm trying to add a like a form, like create one like you were creating the missing price book form, and up at the top right it said like preview and stuff. That doesn't pop up for me. I don't have any preview button.
You have it as unpublished.
Either way, it doesn't.
Have you put anything in it yet?
No, maybe
That's
that's why.
Yeah.
I didn't do that yet.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay.
One thing I have, and I'm horrible at remembering, I haven't sent you folks a survey as of yet, correct? Survey, is that ringing any bells? No? Okay, cool. So as part, we're week 4 here. So Service Titan, they have their whole bit about how these sessions, any customer programs, Ignite, Ember, Spark, are free. They're not free, they're complimentary, they're included in your plan. Part of ensuring that they are continued to be included in your plan and not a pro product, LOL, imagine a pro product, but it's just me. Crazy. Is we get these surveys filled out. So these surveys, one, are an option, like a place for you folks to affect change on our fancy dancy lesson plans, because it's going to ask you, like, how do you find Ember sessions in general? But it's also a place where I can receive feedback about the type of facilitator I am. You can say, yeah, Erica's a cool gal. You can say, my God, what a chaotic woman, whatever. It's a place for that. Makes it so, yeah, that it's not a pro product thing, which is great, and then can affect change in our lesson plan. And also, regardless of what you say about me or the program, my boss gives me a pat on the back for having survey responses in general. So I popped that in the chat. Is everyone able to see it? Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, cool. The only question that I can answer for you is, actually, that's not true. I can answer 2 questions. Number 1, you are in a residential session. And number 2, my name is Erica Jeffries. And aside from that, it is all questions for you folks. All righty. I will have to plug that survey again at the end of our 6th session, but at least we did it now in 4. We got 2 minutes here. I know you folks are probably just wildly involved in the survey. You're probably neck deep in that survey. Filling it out. You're so in. But any questions, anything I can help with here? What I'm going to do in that recap email is I'm going to include, obviously, these are the things we went over today, and this is where you find them so that everyone can navigate to them on their own as they need. But I'm also going to include information about estimate templates, proposal templates, and other direct costs. I think that would be helpful to several folks in the group. I'll do a call out to that missing price book item form. And aside from that, I don't think I owe you folks any follow-up items, correct?
I just want to say FYI on the other direct costs. I know I got that added recently, and they had to do that on the back end or something. So yeah, just letting everybody know that if you don't have it, that's why.
Have you been using it and with success?
Yeah, I use it for like permit costs, equipment, like rental, stuff like that, to put on my estimate so that it figures into my, percentage, but it doesn't affect the cost of the.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was like mostly built out with equipment rental in mind. And then the fact that it also was sick for permits, people were like, dope.
Yeah, it's really good for permits, equipment. Trying to think of, like subcontractor expense if you have to, like,
Yeah, for sure.
hire a roofer, something like that. That's what I use it for.
Perfect. Nice. Okay. I will include that in the follow-up as well. And everyone's getting those follow-up emails. Are they helpful to you folks? I'm not overwhelming anyone with words.
No, they're super helpful. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. I will get that fired off by end of day. I will see you folks next week when we are going through 4 different features on reporting, general ledger accounts, invoices and business units, and differentiating payments by payment types. That's what we will cover next week.
Sounds fun. Bye-bye.
I'll stick around for 5 minutes if anyone has questions. Bye. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.